Hey everyone! I've recently released a brand new track called Synergy, which is a progressive house inspired track, and in this video I'll be breaking down how I made the track and the little details in the track. So first, I think it will be a good idea to talk about the inspiration behind the track, which is a bit different to the way I approach other songs, which is I basically based off this drum pattern in the beginning and then worked with this in the intro before working on the kind of main melody and later kind of drop parts of the song. So I'll play for you the drum bits here. And then later on in the drop, you of course have all of them playing at the same time. And as you can hear there's a couple of sounds. Obviously you've got the kick, just a little bit of a Barker Dog plugin to kind of shape the low end of it a bit. And then we've got some closed hi-hats. They're very simple with a little bit of variation at the end there. This is the same here, but this time I've got the tremolo on, which just helps to have that stereo imaging. And then there are smaller kind of details, which is something like this. So it's just some weird effects. This is also similar. This is a couple of toms. And then we've got some other kind of loops just to help fill out the percussion section a bit more. I'll play you this one. And it's just lots of kind of different sounds layered together to create this overall kind of driving progressive feel. And then from there I worked on the other elements. I'll just play the intro for you again to see how I kind of progress the song. So we've got this arp which is playing, as well as this kind of constant riser to create the tension. And then in the next part, a pad playing. And then this pluck, I think, which is kind of, yeah, it's going to be automated to come in later. So it sounds something like that. It's just different kind of textures to create this really cool kind of atmosphere, I think, which is really like the thing I base this track off, which is like this emotion, this progressive driving feel. We also got this kind of vocal background. Obviously it's having the sidechain and then just a little bit of EQ to clean it up a little bit to ensure there's no low end, which is going to add to the low frequencies. And then just a couple of different sound effects. It's just basically sweeps, white noises, and then yeah, so it's just lots of sounds. And after 16 bars, I start to introduce the main melody. Just gonna be this one. It's also automated, so you can see there's a bit of a crazy automation, but it just adds a lot of movement to the track, which is something I think tracks like these really kind of need to make it interesting. And then I'll also show you how I made this arp sound. It's actually very simple. I made it with Vital. It's a great alternative plugin for something like Serum. So it's a very simple, like plucky sound, and it's also filtered. I'll show you the MIDI again. It's super simple. And then this is the this is just like a drone kind of in the background. This is played by, I think it's Logic instrument. It's from the Logic sampler. And then Also these effects from Logic as well. It's just these are instrument effects. I'll play for you this one. And then once we get to the end of that section, we get into the first break. So the vocal bed continues playing, and there's again more automation on the main melody, and then we just kind of starting to build more pads into it. Also there's the respace continues to play just to fill out that low end in the break to make it sound not so empty. And it also gets I think the kind of the payoff of the break section. And so basically in this section there's this one instrument I think is really cool. I call it the crazy arp. Again with Vital, but then I use this Logic's plugin to create the arp. There's a lot of extra kind of effects on it, OTT, overdrive, of course the reverb, and then some imaging by Ozone. It's the Ozone imager. As you can see there, it's kind of crazy, but I think it just adds a new dimension to the track. It also just keeps it a bit more interesting. And then from there we go on to the build-up, where everything is basically filtered or just kind of removed basically. Let's look at the lead section. The melody is looped to build the tension. And then there's not much in terms of automation. The arc kind of goes away a little bit. And then there's only a lot of automation for this track. It's quite simple. And then we've got the snare roll. I think it's a sampler. Yeah, it's a sampler. And then I just put them in myself. And then there's a bit of the automation on the snare roll, so the high cut frequency. There's also some reverb on it as well. And then for the last bar, we made it so that it kind of goes quiet and then it hits back again. And then in the drop, basically all the instruments are playing all these sounds that I've gone through before. Let's look at the bass line in more detail. There's the respace, obviously, and then deeper kind of driving bass, which is sound something like this. It has a driving sound. I clean the sound out using EQ. It's quite dramatic there. It's maybe Vital. So very short sound. I don't think there's much on the effects because this is a bass line. I don't want to be overwhelmed with effects. And then for the lead, there's a couple of layers. There's this layer that I think they're all from Vital. Yeah, Vital. This is like future rave sounds, and then the main lead is also made with Vital. There's also like the white noise built into that as well to add a bit more transient to the sound. And then from there we go on to add more elements such as the stabs. This is like the Medusa sound, the typical Medusa sound you often hear. I think it's also used in the intro as well. So just these typical sound. And to make it more interesting, I added a bit of the delay here, and then an echo from Valhalla. And then there's actually this bit I wanted to show, which is an alternative layer to the melody. So just adds a bit more kind of harmony to the song. So kind of lifting the melody, enhancing the melody. And obviously this goes through up until the final round, where we kind of bring it back down again with the stable melody. And then that's pretty much it for the track. So it's quite a smooth, quite simple track. That was kind of the main idea, to keep it as simple as possible, but just add those textures and the automations you can see there. They all kind of go into just creating some excitement, interesting tension in the song. And then, like always, I have my extended mix on the same project, so that any changes I make to the sounds here, I can, or it will directly kind of alter the extended mix as well, so it's kind of uniform. And then, so basically, yeah. And that's basically how I made the track. Like I said, it's really simple, only 58 tracks in total. So the main kind of elements you really want in a progressive trance track is just a really nice drum pattern, like a driving kind of bass line, and then like a lot of kind of atmospheric elements such as arps, and then like a plucky kind of melody will do quite well. And also just to use a lot of kind of noises, transitions, sweeps to make them as smooth as possible. So if you haven't yet checked out the song, please go and stream it. It's our link down below, and it's available on all streaming platforms. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the track.